Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Soka Global Citizen Award ceremony, where we will honor this year's recipient of the award. My name is Catherine King, and I am the Executive Vice President for University Community. The Soka Global Citizen Award recognizes an individual for their life's efforts that embody the essential elements of global citizenship, as outlined by our university founder, Daisaku Ikeda, at his 1996 address at Teachers College, Columbia University. The three elements are as follows: the wisdom to perceive the interconnectedness of all life and living, the courage not to fear or deny differences, but to respect and strive to understand people of different cultures and to grow from encounters with them, the compassion to maintain an imaginative empathy that reaches beyond one's immediate surroundings and extends to those suffering in distant places. The award carries a $25,000 stipend to support the recipient's ongoing work. We are honored to recognize Mr. Herbie Hancock as this year's recipient of the Soka Global Citizen Award. A 14-time Grammy Award winner, Presidential Medal of Freedom honoree, and recipient of the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, Mr. Hancock has been in the vanguard of modern music since the early days of his career. From his trailblazing work with Miles Davis to his genre-defining albums like Maiden Voyage, Headhunters, and Future Shock, Mr. Hancock has expanded musical boundaries and championed the role of humanism in art, blending jazz with funk, rock, hip-hop, and electronic music. Mr. Hancock is dedicated UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador for Intercultural Dialogue, where he spearheads International Jazz Day, uniting artists and audiences worldwide to celebrate jazz as a universal language of peace. A chairman of the Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz, he promotes cross-cultural collaboration and inspires emerging generations to harness creativity as a tool for citizen diplomacy that transcends borders, unites people, and fosters empathy. Mr. Hancock has often spoken about the profound connection between music, spirituality, and humanistic values. His commitment to individual and collective transformation aligns closely with SUA's core philosophy of global citizenship, dialogue, and human dignity. On behalf of Soka University of America, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Herbie Hancock. I would like to ask President Fiesel to come forward for the presentation of the Soka Global Citizen Award.
Good afternoon. It's my great honor as president to welcome all of you to today's award ceremony for the Soka University of America Global Citizen Award. I'm especially honored to welcome this year's recipient, Herbie Hancock. Our university founder, Daisaku Ikeda, has highlighted 4 areas for global citizenship education, namely peace, human rights, inequality, and sustainability. This year's recipient, through his music and individual efforts, has championed progress and created value on a global scale in all 4 of these areas. He is a role model as a global citizen who works for the benefit of others by upholding and teaching respect for the dignity of life through his words, actions, and music. Mr. Hancock took part in a published dialogue with our founder and the late world-renowned jazz musician, Wayne Shorter. We are also fortunate to have in attendance today the wife of Wayne Shorter, Carolina Shorter. Thank you for coming. I really want to encourage all of you here today to read this dialogue. It's an amazing book. We have one in our library. It's currently checked out. I'm sure one of our students diligently prepared for today. So I felt so fortunate as I read it, as the 3 discussed a myriad of topics important to humanity and its future. In the beginning of their conversation, the 3 likened music to dialogue. This is so fitting as the theme of this room dedicated to Mr. Ikeda is Dialogue for Peace. Mr. Hancock has been a great champion for peace throughout his life in our Southern California community, in our nation, and throughout the world. He has also been a great supporter of SUA since our university's beginning. In 2002, he was presented the SUA Honorary Ambassador Award in this very room. During that event, he played the piano in an improvisation for which he later named the piece Young Leaves after the performance. In 2006, Mr. Hancock and Wayne Shorter performed in our second annual Peace Gala and brought the house down. It was a wonderful memory for all who attended. In 2012, in a concert at our Performing Arts Center by the youth members of the Ikeda Humanism Brazilian Philharmonic Orchestra, in a surprise twist, he joined the orchestra in a moving finale of the song Mother, written by our founder. And in 2013, he delivered the SUA commencement address entitled, Is We the New Me? We owe such a debt of gratitude to Mr. Hancock for all his tremendous support of SUA through the years. I'd like to share one of the closing thoughts that Mr. Hancock shared with Mr. Ikeda in their dialogue. Quote, SUA and the Soka school system are models for the education of the future. I believe that many educational institutions all around the world will be influenced by this vision of education, a vision critically necessary for the 21st century. Amazingly, Mr. Ikeda, you have put everything in place. The foundation has been laid. What we must do now is, in a manner of speaking, to connect the dots that you have mapped out for us. This will not be an easy task for us, however. It will take all the courage, compassion, and wisdom we can summon from within. We must all rise to this challenge because the future depends on us, unquote. I could truly feel in these words Mr. Hancock's appreciation and admiration of the life's work of our founder and his great expectations for all of us here at SUA, especially our students. It is truly my honor to present the SUA Global Citizen Award to Herbie Hancock. Please join me in welcoming him to the front of the room to receive the award. Soka Global Citizen Award presented to Herbie Hancock for his lifelong efforts to promote global peace and understanding, advocating for music as a universal language that transcends borders, unites people, and fosters empathy. For his role as an innovative cultural ambassador, working to build intercultural collaboration, partnering with musicians globally, and using music to foster ties between the United States and countries in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. For his inspiring future generations as an educator and mentor, guiding young musicians and students to become global leaders who act with compassion and a sense of responsibility toward the world. For his fearless commitment to peace and dialogue, embodying the essential elements of wisdom, courage, and compassion, Herbie Hancock is awarded SUA's 2025 Soka Global Citizen Award. May 8, 2025, Edward M. Fiesel, President. Thank you.
Go back up a little bit. Back up a little to take the picture. Over here.
Thank you. Let's welcome Mr. Hancock to share some remarks. Thank you. Thank you.
How does it look? award. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. What an incredible honor to be with you here today at Soka University of America to receive the Soka Global Citizen Award, an award that celebrates compassion, dialogue, and action on behalf of humanity. It's profoundly humbling. My heartfelt thanks to President Fiesel and the entire Soka community for this recognition and for the essential work you do in cultivating global citizens. I appreciate this award, not just for myself, but on behalf of all of the musicians and educators and dreamers who believe that creativity and human connection can actually change the world. You know, I was first an engineering major, electrical engineering major in college, and later on, during the second half of my second year, I changed to music. And later on, actually became a professional jazz musician. But I've always loved technology, even before I got into music. Throughout my career, I've experimented with synthesizers, computers, sound design, a little bit of sound design because that takes a lot more time. And I had to decide whether I would hire a sound designer or continue to read these books that were, you know, when I first got my first computer and started fooling around with the computers and music, there were just like 4 or 5 pages in those books. That was a long time ago. As the books got bigger and bigger, I said, I gotta make a decision. Well, I'm gonna play the music or be someone that's just designs sounds. Couldn't do them both, right? Anyway, I've experimented with synthesizers and sound design, not just because it was cool, but it was really out of my curiosity. I was curious, always curious. And that curiosity helped me to see how art and science, creativity and discipline, emotion and logic can coexist in really powerful ways. And that's really what brings me here today. The belief that art and education together can illuminate the path toward a more peaceful and compassionate world. They really do go hand in hand. Like SOA founder Daisaku Ikeda, my friend and my mentor, teaches us, quote, knowledge alone does not produce wisdom. Transforming knowledge into wisdom requires input from the heart, end quote. And this is where music comes into play. Music has the power to open our hearts, to make us understand not just logic, but meaning. It creates an emotional resonance that brings knowledge to life, allowing us to feel what might otherwise remain abstract. It connects intellect and emotion, turning information into understanding, and understanding into action. Now that kind of curiosity that leads to action, has been a constant companion on my own journey. It reminds me that creativity, like compassion, requires us to stay open. And openness is at the heart of global citizenship. It is at the heart of the arts and the heart of music and jazz. And while music teaches us to listen, jazz specifically teaches us how to listen together. It teaches improvisation, adaptability, and active engagement. It's about expressing yourself while also uplifting the voices around you. And those are precisely the qualities that define a global citizen. Just last week on April 30th, we celebrated International Jazz Day across more than 190 countries, with people from every walk of life coming together to share and enjoy jazz. There's something deeply powerful in that. Now, music is way more entertaining. Music is way more than entertaining. It's a tool for understanding. It's a thread of connectivity. It links cultures, ideas, and hearts. And it reminds us of our shared humanity. As my best friend Wayne Shorter once said, quote, "Our humanity is our instrument," end quote. And to me, being a global citizen means playing that instrument in tune with the world. But what does that actually look like? It means moving through life with a spirit of openness, practicing adaptability, choosing respect and kindness. Yes, those are choices. Recognizing that we all carry experiences and stories, and sometimes prejudices, and remain curious and courageous enough to challenge them. Listening to other people's music, really listening, can tell us a lot about their culture, their history, their values. It's one of the simplest and most powerful acts of empathy we can engage in. Every melody tells a story. Listening deeply helps us understand not only others, but ourselves. What instruments do they use? What rhythms guide them? What emotions do they express? Now, that's a lesson in empathy. So, to the students and lifelong learners here, be curious, be open, be bold, listen. Wanting to make the world a better place is not naive. It's necessary. We need your idealism. We need your voices, your critical voices. And to the educators and mentors, foster curiosity. Keep nurturing that spirit of exploration. Encourage your students not just to find the right answers, but to ask the right questions. And to all of us, let's work together. Answering the world's toughest questions takes teamwork. Jazz is total teamwork.
Yes.
In jazz, every musician has a voice. When one solos, the others support. Not with silence, but with conversation. It's not chaos. It's collaboration. That's the motto we need in this world, don't you think?
Yes.
I talked about technology at the beginning of my speech. And I've always admired what Steve Jobs once said about the rebels who dared to challenge the status quo. Quote, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who really do." End quote. Well, I've known a few of those people throughout my life. And I could sense this kind of spark here throughout this very day. The positive, ambitious, and uncompromising energy of people who care deeply about the future. Let's use it. Let's keep this momentum going. Let's continue building bridges through music, dialogue, through empathy, and collaboration. To be a global citizen means moving through life with our minds and hearts open. It means respecting others, even or especially when their views and opinions, their rhythms, or the tunes of their lives are different from ours. It means asking questions, and it means being willing to listen to the answers. Thank you for this extraordinary honor. May we all continue to play our part in composing a more peaceful, just, and harmonious world. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Mr. Hancock, for your heartfelt remarks. So at this time, we have a few moments for some questions. So if you'd like to ask a question, if you could please raise your hand and someone will bring a mic to you.
Thank you for this amazing opportunity. My name is Misaki Nagakura, and I'm a second-year student from Japan. And I have played the piano for 18 years since I was little. And after coming to Soka, I'm taking jazz piano class, and I'm having a lot of fun engaging in jazz music. And my question is about jazz and dialogue. Which you also mentioned in the book Reaching Beyond, and the discussion with you had with the founder Ikeda and Mr. Schroeder.
Yes.
And in the book, you mentioned that jazz is a gift that African Americans give to the world, and they express their sufferings and pain through music, and they turn those sufferings into joy through creativity. So my question is, I'd like to ask you, how has the dialogue within yourself and with the audience shaped your music, and how has these dialogue within you and with the audience turned your suffering or pain into joy? Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's a great question. And actually, when I perform in front of an audience, I realize that the audience isn't like just sitting there in their seats, focusing on us, the musicians, standing on the stage like we're the conquering heroes, and they're the servants and we're the masters, or something like that. It's not that, because I know that every night that we play, we're playing in front of different people, and it affects the music. So my realization is that the audience is part of the band. Like, you guys are part of this speech, right? All of you, right? Actually, the speech is written. Sorry. For example, sorry. My delivery is actually my own, okay? But it's sharing. That's what playing jazz is about. Sharing with the audience. It's not just coming from us. It's coming from the bigger us. It's us and you. And it feels like that. And when you have that kind of feeling, for me, it's really turned into a realization that we're like a family. As a matter of fact, I feel that way about every human being. They're part of my family. And I say this to audiences every night that we perform. You know how many families there are in the world today? One. We all came from the same root, right? Humanity was born in Africa and moved throughout the rest of the world. And we brought all of those differences together. It's the human family. There's only one. And they're all on this planet, right? So we have to take care of each other, and we have to take care of this planet, or else this planet will take care of us. Not in a way we want, right? So anyway, I hope that kind of answers the question that way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, thank you very much for coming to Soka today. And then it's my great honor to have you here today. And then my name is Mikiko Jino, and I'm a freshman student at Soka. And then just letting you know that last year, in January, that as a Kansai Soka High School student, I had an opportunity to meet you. And then at the time, I also received a lecture from you. And then again, I want to say thank you once again for your amazing lecture at the time. And then my question is very simple, but maybe difficult to answer. So, what is the most important thing in your life?
The most important thing in my life. Okay, first of all, I have to tell you, hierarchical questions, I have a really tough time with that. Because usually it means that something is above something else. You know, I don't look at life that way. It's very, very difficult. You know, people ask me, what's your favorite color? You know, I used to have a favorite color, but I don't think that way anymore. Because if you think about light has all the colors in it, right? I really be like that. You know, so hierarchical thinking is very, very difficult. But anyway, so what was the actual end of your question? Because I kind of got off topic with my mind.
So my question is, what is the most important thing?
Most important thing in life. Waking up in the morning. That don't make more sense to you when you're my age. That's the truth. But the most important thing in life is every one of us. There isn't like one thing. Again, that's why it's really difficult for me to answer, to make one thing the most important. Just being alive. You know, being alive. You know, I believe life is eternal. You know, people, you know, SGI members believe life is eternal. That's kind of a defining issue. Means it doesn't stop. There's no end point. It's funny, we have a lot of things that we feel are really kind of solid, like we think our bodies are solid, you know. and that we break and we fall apart. Yes. In one sense, that's true. On the other hand, we're made of atoms, right? Our bodies aren't solid. There's spaces in between. If you know, big spaces on that atomic level. You know, and so a lot of what looks a certain way to us has a lot more dimensions than we're perceiving. So there's not like a solid answer for that kind of question. So I'm not being evasive, but that's really the way I feel.
Thank you so much.
Is that okay?
Good afternoon, Mr. Herbie. My name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil and had the privilege since when I was a kid listen Cantaloupe Island. And always when I hear that music, it's like something that touched my heart. So thank you so much for everything and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
I'll be graduating on the grad school here at this amazing institution. And the question that I have is, do you have any regret in your life? If not, what is the way that we should live the life? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I regret that I didn't get enough sleep last night. I regret that I don't practice enough. And I used to practice a lot more than I do now. I'm kind of a little lazy. And I regret that my technique is not as good as it used to be when I was in my 20s. Sometimes though, it actually works, you know. There aren't a whole lot of regrets. I regret that I sometimes make my wife mad at me. That happens a lot. Carolina's a friend of ours, and she knows my wife very well. And my wife's German, and she's very strong, right? Very determined. And but I've learned how to really deal with that. It's 2 easy words, really easy. I will tell all you guys this, you know. Yes, dear. Right? Does that work?
Yeah.
I used to get mad at my father for saying that to my mother, you know, 'cause my mother was a very strong woman, right? And very determined. I would hear him so often just give in to arguments and say, yes, dear. You know, and I thought, why is he wimping out? You know, it made me mad, you know. And I realize now, it kept the family together. You know, and my mother had actually some mental problems too. And that was part of why she was acting the way she was. But that answer of saying yes, dear, solves a lot of problems. And it's not just words, it's because you want to keep, you know, the love flowing. You know, and not just sticking to your guns because you're defending something that, like in my case, my manhood or something like that, you know. You have to give in. Sometimes often. You know, very important to heal arguments and heal misunderstandings and be the first person to stand up and start that healing process. You know, under the line of fire. Unless there's something really important. It depends on what the situation is, of course. You know, I mean, very often you do have to stand your ground because you have to think there's two lives. If it's you and another person, there's two lives, two human beings. That's part of your family. You know, what's going to make that better and make that betterment better for all? So you got to have that kind of broad scope. But I think you're getting, a lot of those ideas will come from your studies here and from your work here at SUA. I mean, it's really tremendous. Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for your question.
Let's really thank Mr. Hancock once again for tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you.